Hey there YouTube, Wrestling Optimus here, back with another action figure review. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. Time for AEW Dynamite on TNT. More importantly, for the first time since the start of the pandemic, they are live from Miami in front of a full house for AEW Road Rager. So get excited, because it's an absolutely stacked card, and spoiler alert, there's a huge surprise. But first, if you're new here, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more pro wrestling and action figure content. Now, we're headed into my custom arena, so for a recap and review, let's take it over to the action figures. The first show of the post-pandemic era opens with a classic Cody Rhodes entrance, complete with a beautiful red, white, and blue jacket. He takes on QT Marshall in a South Beach strap match, where not only are you strapped to your opponent, but you have to reach all 4 turnbuckles in order to win. Poor QT doesn't even get an entrance. After connecting with a series of moves, Cody casually walks around and touches 3 of the turnbuckles before getting attacked by Aaron Solo. Dustin Rhodes runs out and throws him over the barricade. However, this stupidly distracts Cody from touching the last turnbuckle and allows QT to recover and hit him with a low blow. In the end, Cody gets 3 turnbuckles again, only to get stopped by QT, so he delivers 3 consecutive crossroads before touching all 4 turnbuckles to secure the victory. Shawn Spears cuts a promo on Sammy Guevara, but as he's screaming into the camera, a chair comes flying from off-screen and nails him in the face. Sammy appears, sits down on the chair, and says, "Gotcha, bitch, this is far from over." Tony Schiavone introduces Kenny Omega and Don Callis. When Don goes to speak, the crowd drowns him out with chants of "You got fired" in reference to current Impact storylines. Callis rattles off everyone Kenny has beaten and says there's no one left. Once again the crowd gets involved, chanting "Cowboy shit" and "We want Hangman." That brings out the Dark Order. Evil Uno demands to know why Kenny is ignoring the crowd and avoiding his friend, the #1 ranked wrestler in AEW, Hangman Adam Page. But instead of answering, Omega simply kicks him in the nuts. The Dark Order rush down to help, but they're attacked by the Good Brothers. Just as the Elite are about to gang up on Evil Uno, Hangman makes the save. He takes out the Good Brothers single-handedly, then sets up for a buckshot lariat on Kenny, but settles for a stare-down. Good old JR sits down with Darby Allin and all-ego Ethan Page. He asks why there's so much animosity between the two. Darby says that Ethan got a 12-year head start in the wrestling business, yet he caught up in only a year's time. Ethan got complacent, being a big fish in a small pond. That's why Darby got to AEW first, and that's why Page is so mad. All Ego agrees and says he's pissed that Darby jumped the line without paying respect to those who paved the way. This sets up their coffin match next week. Next up is 6-man action as the Pinnacles, FTR, and Wardlow take on the Inner Circle's Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager. The 2 tag teams do most of the work and put on quite a show for the live fans. Then it's time for the big boys. They exchange some punches and brawl a little until Tully distracts the ref so FTR can hit the big rig on Hager, allowing Wardlow to get the pin. Machine Gun Carl Anderson cuts a promo talking about his time in New Japan. His friend Kenny Omega was the first IWGP United States champion, and he's pissed that it's around Moxley's waist now, so he challenges Mox for the title next week. Out come MJF and Chris Jericho for a contract signing, only to be attacked by a random fan, so MJF lays into the crowd, threatening to kick all their asses. Then he says it's sad that Jericho is begging for yet another match when he's already lost twice. Jericho responds that he's willing to accept any stipulation, he'll even have sex with MJF's mother, leading to chants of "fuck his mom." Inspired by what Chris put Jon Moxley through to get a world title shot and the labors of Hercules from Greek myth, MJF says that Jericho will have to beat all the members of Pinnacle before they square off. The Demo God accepts, but MJF insists that they shake on it. However, when they do, Jericho uses the opportunity to hit a Ripcord Judas effect, knocking out Max and standing tall. Dr. Britt Baker claims that no one wanted to see her tag team match last week against Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. She's not exactly wrong. It only happened because Tony Khan wanted to bring in Andrade El Idolo. Well, he got his wish, and now Reba is hurt again. She goes on to promote her match at Fyter Fest vs. Nyla and says she's going to win. But in the background, Rebel's facial expressions indicate there might be some cracks in this partnership for the first time. Speaking of Andrade, it's time for his in-ring debut as he takes on number 5 ranked Matt Sydal. His entrance attire is questionable, but his in-ring work is incredible. Both men fly around before inevitably Andrade hits a hammerlock facebuster, apparently called El Idolo, for the win. Afterwards, he puts Sydal in a submission hold for good measure. We get a quick video package recapping the long-storied rivalry between Christian Cage and Matt Hardy ahead of their match at Fyter Fest. Tony Schiavone is back with Arn Anderson when suddenly the lights go out. They come back on to reveal Aleister Black, the former Tommy End. He nails Arn with a spinning heel kick as commentary says his name in AEW will be Malachi Black. When Cody tries to make the save, he gets hit with a spinning heel kick too as the crowd chants, "Tommy, Tommy, Tommy." In mixed tag team action, the Blade and the Bunny take on Chris Statlander and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Beforehand, Ref Aubrey frisks the Blade and finds his brass knuckles. While she scolds him, the Bunny gets in Cassidy's face, only to be hit with some devastating orange kicks. So much for no intergender stuff. In fact, there's more of it when the alien hits an Area 451 splash on the Blade for a near fall, but the Bunny breaks it up. An attempted orange punch is thwarted by another pair of brass knuckles, but the women are legal, so Chris Statlander hits the Big Bang Theory and picks up the victory. Jungle Boy is presented with a trophy for being the first wrestler in AEW history to reach the 50-win mark. Yay! Some UFC guy I've never heard of claims that he was only invited as a guest to watch, not participate. So of course he gets in the ring and cuts a heel promo. Channeling his inner Jim Cornette, he says that wrestling has gone downhill since the 90s and become unwatchable. Tonight was supposed to change his mind, specifically the passionate AEW fanbase, but it hasn't. So Lance Archer appears with Jake the Snake and hits the moron with a blackout. Bye, Felicia. In our main event, Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo take on the Young Bucks in a street fight for the AEW Tag Team titles. Fittingly, Kingston throws a chair at Nick Jackson before they can even clean up the streamers. They brawl around ringside, setting up a table. Eventually, Penta manages to put Matt Jackson through it with an insane Canadian Destroyer. Back in the ring, the Bucks take control, but when Eddie sinks in a rear naked choke on Matt, Nick decides to hit a splash on the ref. Matt taps out, but it doesn't matter. The Good Brothers arrive, but Penta takes them out with a huge plancha. Brandon Cutler tries to use his spray cans, but also gets put through a table by the elite hunter Frankie Kazarian. Eddie hits a finisher on Matt and even calls for a new referee, but Nick breaks up the pin attempt, so he's also attacked by Kazarian before the Good Brothers take him out. Kingston introduces the dreaded thumbtacks, but it's Penta who gets slammed into them. The Bucks throw some tacks at Penta's face before shoving a handful in Eddie's mouth and hitting him with a super kick for the win. I was really impressed with NXT's Great American Bash on Tuesday night. It felt like a pay-per-view quality event on free TV. Then Road Rager happened and blew them out of the water. This show was absolutely incredible from start to finish. Great in-ring action, tons of storyline progression and character development, plenty of promotion and build for all the upcoming specials, and that shocking debut of Malachi Black. AEW Dynamite is my favorite wrestling show by far. It feels tailor-made for me and I love it. This episode only cemented those feelings and solidified my loyalty to the true black and gold brand. Alright, that'll do it for AEW Road Rager. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I'll be back next week with another special action figure review of Fyter Fest Night 1, and more throughout the month of July, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to do all that normal YouTube stuff. Smash the like button, share with any wrestling or action figure fans you may know, subscribe to the channel, and spread the word. You can also talk to me over on Twitter at WrestlingOptimus, or see all my best figure photography over on Instagram at WrestlingOptimus. If you haven't seen the mid-year rewind for the Predictions Championship League, you can check that out right here. But until next time, I've been Wrestling Optimus, and I'll catch you later.